CD Matters. Secure your CD, make it count.
This is another episode of CD Matters, the financial literacy program, one of the best on social media in these times. As you well know, there are lots of issues when it comes to finances and managing finances in these times, in these turbulent times. So on CD Matters, what we try to do is to actually bring individuals, experts, who can actually give you a word or two as regards how you can manage the little that comes into your hands, so that at the end of the day you wouldn't be worse off. We make much reference on CD Matters to the 2018 banking sector cleanup. I think that is when everything about banking and everything about finance began having shakeups. Not long after the cleanup, we also had the Russia-Ukraine war. As if that wasn't enough, as you are all aware, we also had the DDEP as a domestic debt exchange program. All these come together and they are just so much on the minds of you and I. So on CD Matters, all that we do is that we try to help you and I have these discussions. I strongly believe that when these discussions are over, it will help you address one issue or the other. We are very favored and we are very fortunate to have with us a very seasoned individual in the area of investment and finance. And we are talking about no other person than the CEO of New Generations Investment Services Limited. He is coming to discuss creating value for your money with us. And I strongly believe by the time he is done, you would still see the need, the essence, to still put some money aside. And even if you're already putting money aside, how to even diversify where you put the money. So without much ado, we'll welcome our guest and we'll zoom into the conversation. Mr. Eddie, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And you are very, very welcome to CD Matters.
Thank you very much.
Right then. I've known you for, I think, some time now, if I'm not mistaken, about 5 years now. We used to do business with your entity. Okay. That is in my past life.
That is it.
Yes, but I think this one of the times that we've been able to meet you. I've been able to meet you one-on-one. So the whole conversation today is creating value. Creating value. But prior to that, we would want to know a little bit about you, so that maybe people can relate. I'm sure lots of people know you because of the work you do. So if you can give us just a profile, just a little bit about yourself, we'll be glad.
Okay.
Yes,
thank you very much,
right,
Daniel. As you rightly said, my name is Edward Kokula Samoa.
Okay.
I've been working in the industry for getting to 15 years now.
Wow.
We've been managing funds on behalf of individuals and corporate bodies.
Okay.
So, so far as the financial market is concerned and investment, we've been leading a lot of people to invest in good areas to their benefit and to the benefit of the entire nation. But to expand it and take a look at what has been happening, and when you look at the past years, people have been investing, but because of what has happened on the market, now people's interest in investment has dwindled or gone down.
Very true.
But notwithstanding, we cannot say because of that we are stopping. As life goes on, we need to invest. A couple of years back, from 2018, 2019, thereabouts, realized that about 420 institutions were collapsed or had their licenses revoked by the regulators.
That's
due to mismanagement and other kind of activities, unauthorized activities.
Okay.
So as people were dealing with these things on the market for years back, just after 2 years, we were also met by this COVID, the whole wide world.
That is true.
There was a shutdown totally. So people have to look up to their investment.
Sure.
People were not going to work for about a year and a half or so. So if you say you will not invest and such a situation happens, where will you get food to eat?
Yeah,
because you are not going you are not coming.
You're
But
making a very great point.
that is it. So people realize that it is still better to do investments, irrespective of the happenings on the market.
Right.
Then from there, as a result of that, as you mentioned from the intro, we are all in a global world. Whatever happens outside our country also affects us. And then
Right.
Russia and Ukraine
Mhm,
issues
mhm,
also
mhm.
came in,
Right.
coupled with the post-COVID issues.
Right.
Then we realized that the economic situation worldwide was
Affected.
affected.
True.
So people, nations were not seeing top.
Mm-hmm.
So as a result of that, we realized that it affected the whole nation. Government has borrowed so much
Right.
to the point that our debt or the national debt or the public debt is
Right.
no more sustainable.
True.
This thing was realized somewhere the year 2022. So
Okay.
quickly the government has to look elsewhere by contacting the IMF for a bailout
Okay.
as a result of that. So this, to make our debt sustainable, to be able to fit into the program,
Right.
there was the need to,
For the DDEP.
yes, for a need to government, there was the need for government to restructure the public debt,
Okay.
and that called for the domestic
That called for
debt exchange,
Okay.
which we are still in it.
Right.
The first part is off.
Right.
We are in the second sphere of the DDEP.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, so I would say as a practitioner
Right.
in the market, I would still recommend that people continue to do investments.
Okay.
It's through investment or savings and investment that we can develop ourselves
Okay.
as individuals, as a nation, or probably as a family.
Okay.
Without investment, you can't get anything.
Okay. So without investment, we can't do anything. I would want us to backtrack a bit. What then is investment, and what are the types of investment we can do?
All right. Thank you very much. I'll take it from savings
Okay.
point of view.
All right.
Before we can do savings, savings is nothing but putting aside money gradually for emergency purpose, to meet emergencies.
Okay.
So if you're able to make a lot of savings, then from there you can do investment.
Okay. So you start from savings.
Then
move to investment.
yeah.
Okay.
So savings is nothing but when you work, everybody is supposed to work.
Okay.
Once you are human being, you develop your mind or career to a point. Then you come into the world to work.
Right.
So in the course of working, there's the need to put something aside to meet emergency situations, like what happened during the COVID.
Right.
So if you have done savings, then you can fall on your savings to meet your emergency situation.
Right.
Then when you're able to build your savings, then from there you can do investment.
Okay.
Investment, that's where you are looking at where you can put the money to get value or to grow the money or to get something over
Which
it.
more or less sinks into what we are discussing today,
That is
and
it.
how to make value, create value for the money, the savings that you put down.
Yes. So from the savings, then you have to go into investment.
Right.
Like when we talk of investments, where you put the money into an account
Okay.
or an area where you can get value.
An account or an area.
Yes.
So
Like
it does not necessarily have to be with a financial institution.
that is it.
Okay.
We have so many types of investment,
Right.
which can be in a form of property.
Okay.
Owning a property, you can buy a property, keep it for some time,
Okay.
dispose of it,
Right.
then you get something over it in the form of returns.
Okay.
Or if you are into business, you could talk about profits.
Okay.
So by so doing, you accumulate wealth.
Okay.
And by accumulating the wealth, there's the need to invest,
Okay.
diversify.
Right.
Diversification comes in here.
Right.
You need not leave your money in the savings account alone.
Okay.
From the savings account, you go to investment.
Okay.
And then in the investment sphere, we have several types.
Okay.
We have short-term investment, medium-term, and then long-term investments available.
Okay.
So for one to go into short-term investment, it depends on the person's objective.
Okay.
Probably I want to invest and meet certain things in my life.
Okay.
So in that sense, I can contact an expert. The expert can tell me, then you have to do investment for, say, 5, 2, 3, or a number of years or time.
Please hold that thought. Before you do the investment,
Yes.
you need to contact an expert.
That is it.
Okay.
It's very important. people do investment anyhow.
Mm.
In everything, there is an expert. If you
Okay.
don't know, you ask.
Okay.
Knowledge is very important
Okay.
when it comes to investment.
Okay.
It's not every area that you can invest.
Okay.
Even on the market, there are institutions which are not accredited. That led to the collapse of these 420
Right.
institutions in
Right. Right.
2018-19 thereabout.
Okay.
Some were licensed, but they were not doing what they were authorized to do.
Okay.
So if you want to invest, there's a need to contact an expert
Okay.
so that the expert can tell you, oh, this institution is credible,
Okay.
and you can invest in.
Okay.
That is all that is needed so far as an investor is concerned.
Investor is concerned. Okay. So aside knowing the type of investment or where to even place the money, you need to also go a step further and find out from an expert, somebody who knows about investment.
That is it.
So that you don't just gather your money and just take it anywhere.
Not at all.
But you should gather the money. First, know the reason why
Yes.
you want to gather the money and place it somewhere,
Yes.
and look at whether you want it in short term, medium, or long term.
That's it.
Is that what I'm getting from?
Yeah,
the
that is
conversation?
exactly what
Okay.
I'm talking about.
So that for the short term, medium term, and long term, we've heard of treasury bills, we've heard of fixed deposits, we've heard of bonds, we've heard of shares. What are these? Are they relevant in these? And especially in these times that even bonds that people had so much confidence in is now shaking. What are these instruments?
Instruments on the market. Yeah. Thank you very much. When you come to short-term investments, there are types of investment that last up to say a year, and then medium-term 2 years up to 3 years, and then from 5 years upwards is long-term.
Okay.
So if one want to invest in a short term, the investment vehicles available for one to choose are many.
Okay.
Like you mentioned, treasury bill is a type of investment which is on the money market, and it's a short-term instrument.
Okay.
Which one can invest in it for say 3 months up to a year.
Okay.
6 months or so.
Right.
Then we have other investments which we can also talk about. You mentioned fixed deposit, which is an instrument that can also be invested in for 3 months, 6 months, or a year. It's also a short term. Then we also have other instruments on the market which are called collective investment schemes.
Collective
Investment schemes.
Okay.
Which sometimes you call them mutual funds or unit trusts.
Okay.
You can one can also invest in those instruments in the short term, medium term, and long term.
Okay.
And they are very liquid and very reliable, because when it comes to collective investment scheme, the reason why I'm talking about it that is very reliable and very solid is that there's segregation of duties when it comes to the management of funds in the collective investment scheme.
Okay.
You have a fund manager, and then you have a custodian, and then we have a trustee or the board, which help to regulate all these funds that comes into the kitty.
Sorry to chip in there. Please hold that thought. All right. There's a trustee, there's a board for its management and all that. All right. Viewers, I think this conversation is getting more interesting, and I can't wait to hear more. But you and I are aware that such programs, such initiatives cannot happen if we don't have support. So in that case, we would want to go for a short commercial break. When we are back, we'll give Eddie more time to throw light on these things that he's talking about. See you in the next few minutes.
Since 2018, the finance and economic climate following the banking sector cleanup and its associated woes have shaken the very foundation of personal lifestyles, family incomes, and businesses. And whether rich or poor, young or old, everyone has his or her own share of this problem. How then do you manage the little that you earn? Are you able to perform your personal or family responsibilities financially? How are you even coping with stress at the workplace? Tax, inflation, GDP, DDEP. How do you understand these financial terms? Watch CD Matters on YouTube and Facebook as we digest these topics and many more for the betterment of your livelihood. Let's get interactive on our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Share your opinions with us on the current state of the economy, banking and finance, investment, entrepreneurship, career development, and more. CD Matters. Secure your CD, make it count.